Yo, what's good, everybody? This is your boy Lorelco Mulzac, and you're listening to the Socially Awkward Podcast.
Socially awkward. Socially awkward. Let's go.
I'm so glad that you're here. Listen, this is special. It's a special one. I got my wife with me. I got wifey with me. I got the Wanda. Nicole, Nicole Mulzac.
Remember you used to call me Nicole?
Yeah, I used to call you Nicole all the time.
You love that thing.
I did. I'm like, it's
You
a cute
love
little
me. You
name.
try to make me a little nickname, Coco or something.
I don't know.
Now I call him Coco.
We're not good with nicknames. Like I've tried with the nicknames with you, and I don't know what it is.
I know what I call you
What do you call me?
during you know what,
Uh-oh.
you know where,
Come on.
with you know who. I'm just kidding.
Come on. I'm gonna turn this thing off. Come on. No, I'm glad that you're here, man, because it's been a long time coming. I feel like us doing a podcast has been something that we've talked about forever, and we just so happen to choose now, which I've always wanted you to have you on the podcast, but we're almost pressed for time right now. We got like 30 minutes. We got to roll. You know what I mean? But we're going to make it happen.
That's the best one, though.
True. It's very true. But I'm just glad that you're here.
Ooh, we got to release this episode on the on my page.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't know.
It is what it is. We can do whatever. But I'm so glad that you're here because I've had a lot on my mind. I'm sure you got a lot on your heart. You just popped out a baby. He's with you right now.
Yes. Meet Koa piece.
How does this transition feel for you? How does this going from mommy of 2 to mommy of 3, going from a medicated birth to an unmedicated birth? Like these a lot of transitions.
I'm on a high, really. I feel like I'm on a high. I'm really like at this. I just feel like I could do anything vibes. Like, have you noticed that?
Yeah,
I literally feel like I can do anything, which is kind of like a catch-22 because I'm in a healing process and I'm like being forced to take it slow. But mentally, I feel like I could do anything. But then it's like basically making my mind align with like what I'm doing.
I gotta say, you said something.
Oh,
I'm gonna say because you preached. You said you're at a healing process, so you're forced to take it slow. Why does healing have to be slow?
Because there's a process.
What happens in that process of healing?
Depends on what's healing.
Regarding your body, what's in that process? What does that entail?
I got a plate-sized wound in my womb, so you can't rush the process.
Yeah, because what happens? Let's say you wanna run right now. Like you're 6 weeks right now, right? 6 weeks postpartum. Let's say you want to run 5 weeks, 4 weeks. You think that your healing process is quick, is fast, you good. What happens if you rush that process?
Oh, I could re-injure or I could injure myself because your pelvic floor is not like holding everything together, like your abs, and honestly, your organs can come out. It's called prolapse.
Oh my God.
I know. Do you want to hear that?
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, you asked me. I don't know. Sometimes he be asking me stuff because he wants me to preach for him, but like I'm gonna be real direct. Like if your pelvic floor is not all the way like, tight.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just flip them off on accident? I said tight. He can loosen up. I'm coming here to loosen y'all up over here on this podcast. But if it's not like tight, then because it's like holding up your bladder and all these things, then yeah, you could literally injure yourself by moving too fast.
That's good.
So I was literally talking to someone actually, last week we were talking about therapy, we were talking about all those things, and they were saying like they don't want to deal with healing because it's hard, because you have to feel those feelings that you've been avoiding.
Right.
So healing is hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that healing just goes like A to Z, we're healed. Like, no, healing is gory. Healing is tough. Healing is like strenuous, to be honest. Yeah. And it makes you be patient. Healing or wanting to heal produces like, you have to be patient. There's patience in healing.
Yeah. It's crazy because I had physical therapy this morning, and he said you have one more week, about maybe a week and a half until I get off the boot and actually start walking. Well, as you can see, I'm out the boot now, but literally, I'm not in that way. I'm not walking fully. I'm not doing an extended walking or extending my calf or heel or whatever. But what he was telling me, he said, yeah, I know that this healing process is long, but it's necessary. And I was like, Okay, cool. He said,
Turn to
listen,
your neighbor and say, neighbor, it's long, but it's
Huh? It's
necessary.
long, but it's necessary.
Huh? You better get in that thing.
And so, and so what he was telling me was, he was like, we never want to rush the process of healing because there's
I
a certain.
love you so much.
Come on now.
I
There
love you
she
so
goes.
much. I love this.
I can't even get my. I can't even.
Because you really gonna speak. That's why I know you about to really preach right now.
I'm about to
It's
lose
just
my
so
thought now.
fire to me. Go, baby. Said it's long, but it's necessary.
It's long, but it's necessary. It's important that we don't rush the process of recovery, because if we rush the process, like you said, something you may deter something, or you may hinder the full amount of healing that you need to keep moving forward. Because what we want to do is we want to move forward so fast. And if we don't wait and be patient in that healing process, we'll move forward fast. But the faster you move forward, the faster you'll lose, the faster you get hurt or injured again.
Right. A lot of people try to fast forward, but you can also fall forward.
That's very true. That's good.
So just because you could be running from your pain and not trying to heal from your pain, and on that run you fall.
You fall, right.
You think that the victory is in the fact that you're running, but guess what? You still fell.
Correct. And then
So
and then you hinder the process.
Absolutely.
And then you backtrack. Now you
preach it.
Now the healing process takes longer.
Absolutely.
Like now it's like you are on track and then you tried to rush it and now you backpedal and it's just like, man, now I got to take a longer extended time to do nothing, to heal again. And healing usually means doing nothing, allowing your body to do what it's supposed to do, allowing God to do what he's supposed to do. And a lot of times in healing, we want to be a part of that healing process. We want to get the stuff together. It's like we want to put our Band-Aid on. We want to take it off. We want to put on the peroxide. We want to do all this other stuff. Let's keep this process, put alcohol. We do all kind of natural remedies to do all this stuff to try to make sure that we heal fast. The best healing is when it's slow healing. I always say slow growth is the best growth.
Why do I keep doing this?
I don't know why I keep doing that. But slow growth is the best growth.
It is. Like, have you ever got something that you didn't deserve?
Yes, I have.
Absolutely. I've had that happen too.
I think I got you when I didn't deserve you. Oh, God. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm like, I don't think I deserve this lady.
No, but like seriously, like literally as a kid, I remember going to a store and literally like I was getting my little change back from if I would like buy some chips or something, right? I remember one time giving them a 5 and they gave me change as if I gave them a 10. The T is I didn't earn that change that they just gave it to me. So I went and spent the money everywhere that I possibly could spend it. Now, I should have went back and returned it, did I? No.
Oh, they gave you more.
They gave me more than I was supposed to get back.
So that was an integral issue.
So I did. I mean, I was younger. But like technically I should have worked for that. And if I would have worked for that $10 instead of worked for the $5, I probably would have spent the $10 more thoughtfully because I was rushing ahead of the process because I didn't earn it. Right. I knew that I didn't earn it.
Right. Because we don't value the things that we don't earn.
No, we don't.
Even if we receive it, we don't value it because we didn't work for it. And
right.
That's very deep.
And there's no roots that are built. Like if you think about a seed, right? When you plant a seed into the ground, that seed has to grow underground. It has to grow roots.
Correct.
And if the seed didn't grow roots, then what? That seed is going to be washed away with the flood. Right. Now, if there's roots, then it's like a tree that's, springs forth, plants into the air, and now when the flood comes, guess what? The roots keep it. So for me, I sometimes, and I'm going to be real with you, sometimes when I'm like working and stuff and feels like nothing's happening, in my mind, I'm like, man, like, why can't I just skip this process? Like, I'm done with this process. Yeah. But then moments like these, we have talks, and then you remind me, like, babe, there has to be roots, because if there's not roots, it's like easy come, easy go. Yeah. You're going to fall away.
So when I see roots, because I'm a visual person, when I see roots, I see like the literal definition of roots, like this big old trunk of tree, but within the ground, get all of these stems, right? All of these different stuff like stuck in the ground. Mm-hmm. Like what are those, if you could label those pieces that are literally dug into the ground to keep the tree stable, what would that be? What would those
foundation?
What would those names be? Because foundation requires a lot of different things, right? Like if you put out in the house, you can't just put cement, but there's a process to put cement in. So there's a lot of different things that happen to keep the foundation strong. What would be some of those things for you as far as like not skipping the process, enjoying the healing process, taking it slow? What is the foundation? What are some of those those root areas that you use as a foundation to make sure that you're grounded, that you can actually be patient and persevere through this time?
That's a good question. I feel like for me, I need vision. I need purpose.
Yeah.
You know, because like I feel like a seed does not grow without purpose, right? A seed knows what it's about to do. Like there's a seed, right? And I can plant the seed, but I'm not going to know what the seed is unless it was labeled first. I don't know the purpose of the seed until it comes out the ground. And then after it's out of the ground, not just the leaves aren't going to tell me what it is. Right. It's going to wait till it gets its fruit. Oh, that's good. And sometimes, depending on the seed, that could take months. That could take, I don't know if a seed takes a year. Let me know down below. But like for me, I'm like, if I don't know my purpose, then my roots don't matter. If there's no purpose, there's no roots, because everything comes together to accomplish a purpose, right? When that seed takes root into the soil, the water, the nutrients, they all come to form and to build that seed into who it's supposed to be. Therefore, other people around the seed may be confused. They may be other people around the seed, or from the naked eye that don't see the fruit, can be confused with the purpose of the seed. But if the seed knows what it's called to do, and the seed has that information stored up, when that seed grows up, it will produce fruit, and then everybody will know it. So for me, I'm reflecting on the fact that no one may know what I'm doing right now. But if I know what I'm doing right now, then that's the foundation, and that's what happens in my process. So I'm not going to go pluck myself out of my process when I know my purpose, because if I pluck myself out of my purpose too soon, then my seed never grows fruit. So the T is, if you're waiting on God to answer a prayer for you, you're waiting on your dreams to come true, you have to wait for the fruit of that. But you can't be so easily deterred when other people don't know what fruit you're going to produce. And sometimes it's actually a blessing when God closes people's eyes so that they don't know who you will become.
Right. And I think we were just having this discussion.
Oh, yeah, that's why it's so good.
10 minutes ago, we were having this discussion where we feel like maybe even, I know me personally, I've seen people overlook me. And that's kind of been a factor for me to push as hard as I go, to do as much as I do, because it's almost like I got to prove to you that I am somebody, that I'm something, but they don't see what I've been doing behind the scenes. They don't see my purpose. They don't see what I've, and so there's this constant battle. I'm like, why don't you see me? And a lot of times, many of us, we are walking around trying to figure out, hey, why don't you see me? What is it about them that you like, but you don't like me? And it's like a insecurity issue as well, self-esteem issue. But at the same, it's a real issue. Because we all want to be seen. We all want people to see our purpose. We want people to see our value, because we see the value within ourselves. And so we don't want to be misconstrued or misunderstood. Like, yo, look, I know I'm somebody, bro.
You be trying to prove yourself.
I'm trying to do all these different things. But again, if my foundation isn't rooted in me knowing who I am, then I'll lose sight of that, and I'll go rogue and try to be somebody else because I don't know who I am, because my roots aren't grounded in my purpose.
Because you're trying to access the fruit of someone else.
Correct.
But you haven't gone through their process.
You ain't gone through their process, right? And so their process and their roots are different than what mine would look like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all the same. We're all a seed, but we all grow differently. I'm looking at 2 fig trees that we have outside my porch. One's leaning right now. I don't know why it's leaning. The other one is straight up. They got the same amount of water, same amount of sunlight, but they grow differently. And a lot of times we want to grow how somebody else is growing. And we're growing differently. We're like, oh, hold on. Well, so I'm growing different. Something ain't right. No, you're just growing differently.
You're growing
but
the
you're
way
still
that you're
growing.
Supposed to grow.
You're growing the way you're supposed to grow.
Listen to this, babe. A flower doesn't ask for permission to blossom. It just does.
See, that's why I have you on here.
I mean, like when you think about
the Wanda Mulzac podcast, y'all.
No,
it's the
a flower.
like
good. Literally, a flower does not bloom with permission.
That's true. That's really good.
A plant doesn't blossom without permission.
That's good.
So my thing is, what I'm telling myself is, I'm not waiting for anybody else's approval.
That's it, bro.
I'm not waiting for anybody else to tell me that I'm free to move and free to blossom and free to do this and free to do that. All the times that I've been stunted is when I wait for someone else to tell me to grow.
Yep.
Instead of just grow.
All right. Or they think they have a map to how you should grow.
Exactly. And you don't.
And you don't.
Absolutely. Your job, and what I'm learning in business really is like, someone who either, if you're hiring people, if you're looking for a support team, whatever the case may be, like they have to allow you to grow the way that you grow. and gently push you when you need to be pushed.
Right.
But for instance, like the fig tree, right? You're not going to go pluck it out and say, oop, I'm done with you because you're not growing the way I want it to grow. No, you're going to water it. You're going to nurture it. You're going to allow it to grow the way that it's going to grow.
Right.
When you see dead leaves, you're going to like, clean those off. And I feel like that's what we do in marriage.
Yeah.
I'm not called to change you.
Right.
You're not called to change me. Who we are at our core is who we are at our core. Now I can say, hey babe, I love it when XYZ, or I can push you towards what I think are your best characteristics, but who I married is who I married.
Correct. And a lot of times in the process of growth, there's some ugly parts of who we are, and we usually run at the sight of the ugly instead of learning how to prune.
Right.
How can I prune you? I can't change you. I can't uproot you. But I can try to prune you.
That's
I can
good.
try to show you, hey, maybe this is a better way. Or maybe we should do some counseling. Maybe we should do some therapy. Maybe we could add some accountability or whatever to figure out ways that we can continue your growth and not stunt it. And too many times when you leave, you're stunning the growth. And though we're not in charge of each other's growth, we are in charge of our own. We can help produce each other.
Yeah, and I feel like for us, like what I love about us is the fact that we do that. Like you give me permission to be me.
Yeah.
I give you permission to be you without giving you permission. It's just like we're not pressuring each other to be anything other than who we are,
Right.
you know?
And no one's intimidated by each other. Like,
No.
I know your gift. I know who you are. I know your purpose. I know your vision. I know your call. And a lot of times for men, that may scare them when they see the call that's so great on the woman, and they back away and say, oh, no, I can't be married to that. Or
And why do you think they back away?
insecurity, because they want to feel needed. And a lot of times when they see someone else who's strong, they feel like, oh, their need is washed away. They don't need, there's not a need for them anymore. When I'm like, they need you even more, bro. Like you're needed even more. As big and large as her call is, she needs you 10 times more than you thought.
I love you.
I love you too. But it's like, it's a real place. It's like, yo, like we think that we're not needed when they see the call on her life that's so great. You have a call too, bro. And sometimes there's going to be certain seasons where your call is to help grow her, is to help develop her, or prune, or to, kick the haters out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, be bodyguard for a minute, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they talking about my way? Hey, move out the way, bro. Y'all don't see her purpose? I see her purpose. And so, like, that's where we're needed.
I think it takes a stronger man to be with a strong woman, and vice versa. It takes a strong woman to be with a strong man. Very true. A lot of times, like, I've seen just like these kind of like the purpose of, like, let's say, like I have a lot of strong friends, right? So I've seen, whereas like their spouse may feel insecure about their gifts and all that stuff. And I feel like it's not normally because the woman is too strong, it's because the man is too weak. Dang, yeah. Because you don't see your own value, and you think that your value is in the applause. Like most of these great women that I know, or even the great men that I know, their spouse are probably like, they will literally attribute their success to their spouse.
Absolutely.
And they're like, bro, I would not be here without that spouse. But that spouse has to know that they are called and that they are strong, that they have their own purpose, and that they're seasons. Like our friends that we have, we know, like they're like one of our favorite friends. Not going to say their name or shout them out because they probably don't want y'all in their business. But like, they have told us, like, they both are CEOs. They both own their own businesses and everything. But they're like, bro, we've been married for 15 years. Yeah. There have been times where I've made more money than my spouse and he's made more money than me. They were like, but at the end of the day, we both making money. Like, it doesn't matter. He's making more technically. Like, our marriage is still thriving. We're growing, But it's like, you have to be able to see the long game. If you're worried about, okay, she's doing this today, and what about me? What about me? What about me? Then it's like, bro, you ain't confident. Absolutely. You're not confident in yourself. So what about you? Right. Because you're worried about what your wife is doing, and now you made her your competition. Yeah, man. So how do we grow together?
You can't grow like that.
How do we grow together?
There's no way. You can't grow if you're competing against each other.
No, because I'm like, listen.
And that's actually part of the fall of man. The Bible talks about how Eve she'll go against the grain with Adam. It's kind of in the nature for us to kind of
fight each other.
You know? But we overcome that by learning who we are, by learning your purpose and learning your vision, learning, okay, this is what you're called to do. Hey, in this season, I feel a great call to do this. Okay, bet. What do we need to do? All right, cool. Next season, hey, God's saying I need to go forth and do this. okay, I guess my season is not over, but let's go for it too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we think that because you say you have a season to do something, I have to stop my season.
No, let's give practical. Like,
right.
Let's give something practical, like
Let's
with
say,
you and I.
Yeah, okay, go.
How was our marriage? Like, how did that go? So for 5 years,
Yeah, for 5 years.
you worked a mainstream job. Like,
Yeah.
Lo was a professor, adjunct professor.
Yeah, I worked in higher ed.
Simultaneously doing like director. He was the director of missions. I got literally something popped up for me, us celebrating you joining that school. He
Yeah,
has his
in
own
California.
office. He's in his brute case. Like, I was a loser. Okay, I felt like
You
a
weren't a
loser.
loser.
I promise you. But
You
I
had
never
vision.
felt like that. Like, I never felt like that towards you. But like, in the moment, I was like, man, I got this great guy who has this fire job. He's sending me pictures from his office. He's looking at the freeway, like,
Hey,
well respected.
Irvine was a vibe.
All of those things, you know. And so I remember just being at home, literally setting up a similar situation, like lights, camera, doing my hair, like making YouTube videos and all this stuff. And I was like, babe, one day I'm going to make it. Watch. One day we going to make it.
Yeah.
My husband over there working that wasn't even a 9 to 5. That was salary at that
Salary,
point. And
yeah.
he's
So I
working
was
his
working
job.
all night. Yeah.
And then sometime, remember on Saturdays you would come and
on
I'd be like, babe,
Saturdays.
there's a curly hair event I need to be at.
Yeah.
So he's scrambling, coming back from his little job
'Cause we
fairs
had one
and
car at the
taking
time.
me, letting me go to LA on your dime because I wasn't getting paid to be there.
I mean, it's
And
our
like,
dime. We're married. We won.
but in my mind, like, this is how I felt. I was like, and not just how I felt, like, Lorelco, you were getting some negative feedback from people about that.
Absolutely.
You remember?
Oh, absolutely. I
What is
remember.
she doing at
What's she
home?
doing at home? Like,
Y'all don't
why
have
is she
no
working?
kids.
Right.
Why is she not? What's she doing? Right? Like, why is she making videos all day?
But what they didn't know is we planned that. What they didn't know is when we were both working at the same time in San Diego, I said, you said you didn't like working. I said, you don't like
Oh, I hated it.
You hated it. I was like, okay, what do you like to do? What do you love? Like, what do you want to do?
Thank you, baby.
And you told me what you wanted to do, and I was like, all right, bet. Well, I gotta make sure we good together. So we moved to L.A., Los Angeles County, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna work for us. Now it was tight, but it was right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In California, we're doing our thing. God was favoring us. And then you was like, Lorelco, I'm gonna get you off your job one day. I'm like,
I said, I'm about to bring you off your job. The crazy thing, y'all, I'd be just random because remember we done bought a car and I was like, we ain't gonna be in this car long.
Yeah, you
I
would
didn't
say
like
that. I'm
it.
like,
I was
you didn't
like,
like
I
the
didn't like
car.
the
I'm like,
car.
bro, this car's fire.
I didn't like the
Ungrateful.
car. I just didn't like where we were because I felt like God was calling us to more.
Called us to more for sure.
And so I knew because like my husband is gifted, bro. Like he does music. Shout out to his new song, Go Get It, the Christmas song, Go Get It on all platforms. But my husband is gifted. Like when I met him, he was like he was doing shows, like singing, and he was doing shows like playing behind like famous people. And so like from Nashville to Cali, I was like, bro, you got a passion, you got a purpose too. So like, thank you for letting me operate in my purpose. Like now come off your job. And luckily God worked it out so well that it was like, I think 1 month we had made the same amount that you made in a year.
Yeah.
And we was like, bro, it's the time. Like you got to come. And we also had twins at the time. So it just made sense for him to be home and to help. And then also you started getting your own stuff for the business.
Right. And so, I randomly, I came off my job, became an entrepreneur, and I made more money off the job than what I was making on the job. I was like, well, this is different. And so it's like, there was always a season. There was a season where Wanda was grinding, Wanda was working, I was working, but I was providing for the family. Now, Wanda, you killing it, doing your thing. I'm like, all right, cool. This is that season. I can get to come off my job. I can go and do my passion projects and work on some other things I got going on. All right, cool. So it's like a give and take. I feel like I was saying this in the car on the way here. Relationship is all about giving. And when you think about how we grow and develop together through our seasons, we're both giving.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not taking from each other. Like, oh, let me just take from her. Like, all right, let me go ahead and take advantage of this and not do nothing. Let me just sit here and watch TV 24/7 and not do nothing.
I mean, if you wanted to, you could. I mean,
Why
we
would
were
I do
dating,
that?
y'all. I didn't have
I'm a
nothing.
man.
This
Men
man would let
are-
me use his car. He was giving me his card
we're
while
required
dating.
to work, okay? I'm gonna tell you
You've
that.
been taking care of me. So, like, now I'm like, okay, our business would not run without you. It's Mulzac's. Like, it's us together. So, I just think, like, my point in that is, like, if you would have said, no, you need to serve me, stop doing all these videos, get dinner on the table, make sure that the house is clean 24/7, because you wasn't getting dinner every day when I was doing that.
No.
I acted like
you
it was
working
my
hard.
job too.
You was working hard.
Like I would
Absolutely.
try, but
Right.
I would at least have the dishes done by the time you got home. But
Right.
like, if you were like, nah, you need to serve me like my vision or no, like all this stuff, you would have still been working a job that you hate, and you
Right.
wouldn't be chasing after your vision and what God
Correct.
called you to.
Correct.
So I feel like with marriages, it's like if you have to be able to see your spouse's gifts, because if they win, then I win. Like if I
Correct.
win, you win. So right now I'm like, okay, great. I'm enjoying this, enjoying what we have right now. But I'm like, my husband about to make us millions.
Right.
So it doesn't even matter,
Right.
you know, like, and so I'm believing in you and I'm hoping in you and I'm pushing you and we're pushing our other business ventures forward.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I'm like, it's a team effort, you
Right.
know, but it's a process. That's
Absolutely.
getting back to the process of like, we're growing together.
Right.
Like our seed is in the ground. We're growing roots together. We're 8 years into marriage. Like all y'all see right now is a bunch of just sprouts. But God has shown us the fruit.
Yeah.
And so like, we're only going to keep reaping our fruit. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not waiting for someone else to say, y'all going to have fruit one day. Y'all going to have
Right.
fruit one day. No, like I know I'm going to have fruit one day. I know what my process looks like.
Or listen
And
to
so
the
whether
negative.
people see it or they are not, we still going to work and we're still going to like run toward our vision. And I love
Absolutely.
that for us.
Yeah. But I think it's imperative that we actually look within ourselves to figure out where are those insecurities coming from when we feel like we can't allow our spouse or allow people around us or our friends, you know, different relationships to grow and blossom at their time in their season. We can't support. Where are those insecurities from? Like we have to look within, because you know, on the Socially Awkward podcast, we always talk about looking within, looking in the mirror. What can we do to focus on the root of where some of these issues lie, where some of these insecurities come from? It could come from the past, from childhood. It could come from mom, dad, brother and sister, cousin, school. Like it could come from a lot of different areas. How you grew up, you know. And I find it fascinating that how you grew up, you grew up differently from all of your other siblings, and how you grew up is like so interesting. I'm saying it's not a bad, but it's different from how I grew up. And for you to overcome those obstacles and to overcome that season in life to now be in a marriage where, yeah, I see some of the things that happened back in the day, like sprout up here and there, but you don't allow that to deter you to continue to give to me. You don't allow your past to stop you from loving, to stop you from even helping me grow. Like you don't allow that to stop you, which most people in your certain circumstance, you know, wouldn't have a good marriage, if I can be honest. They wouldn't learn, they wouldn't know how to give in a marriage. They wouldn't know how to love on a companion because of your background. And a lot of times we look at people's backgrounds and we judge them, and we don't give them the time to, or allow themselves to prove themselves and say, hey, they actually are really good. They actually are a giver. They actually are a lover. They actually, you know,
True.
you know, so people wrote you off for a while when we got married because they saw your background.
Technically your mom, but not people. I've really not gotten written off.
I've had
a lot
friends
by
write
my
you off.
friend. Yeah, anybody on your side wrote me off.
Yeah, I have
But
people write you off.
all my life, I've never been written off until I met you.
You had some church people write you off as well.
I don't remember people writing me off.
You told
like
me there were
that,
some people
bro.
wrote you off.
Y'all, now getting married, in-law stuff, that's deep because I don't remember getting written off just for no reason now. Because most people meet me, they talk to me, they see me, they're like, oh, God has his hand on you. I have not really gotten written off like that until you wrote me on. I don't know what it was about you choosing me that just got people to look at me like I was just a nobody. Because you're great in and of yourself. That's the T. Like you're great. You could hold your own. And so a lot of people felt like you deserved better. That's the one thing I didn't think he would go for someone like her. I'm like, y'all, what? But it wasn't until I met you. Like most other guys, like their moms, their family was always like, get her. Like they were like, they would be the ones telling, hey, you need to go after her. Can I get y'all to date? Like I got a son for you, because they knew that I was like a good person. They didn't care about my past. I've never really had anybody like care about my past until we got married. And that was actually like so foreign to me, because I always heard like, man, I could never tell that you've been through all that you've been through. I could never tell that. So I really don't talk about it really until I actually get intimate with people. Yeah. But I really thank God, because he had his hand on me and he helped me and saved me. Yeah. And so at this point, I'm just like,
I don't know. I find that very interesting. Like people the people on my side. I didn't realize it was just people on my side.
I told you, I had never had
Lord
no
have
one just
mercy.
like not like me and not like just for random reasons. I'm like, y'all, I'm so funny. I'm so cool. I know I'm cool.
Right.
I
And
know
that,
I'm a cool person.
and that goes back into saying, like, do you think that pressure of people writing you off, like, do you think that plays into your success, to you giving as much as you give, or
No.
you pushing as hard as you push?
I'm not built like you. You're built like that.
Yeah, that's how I'm built. Yeah.
Okay, someone
find-
could say, "Hey, Lo, you not gonna be great." Oh, I'm gonna be great now,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be great, and I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna send you a postcard in the mail.
won't block you. You're gonna see all my success.
Yes, me. I block you. Don't ever talk to me again. You won't see it. I don't care if you see it. If you don't believe it now, don't believe it later. Like,
Right.
period. That's how I am. You know
Yeah.
how I am.
Yeah.
I am not like. I do not care.
I need you
I'm
to see
trying
it.
to be great. I'm trying to be successful because I'm trying to win against me. And I'm trying to win against my past. Like, literally, my whole goal in life was actually very negative at a time. Was like, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to be like my siblings. I don't want to be like people I grew up with. So, like, let me do the exact opposite. Now, that was definitely winning from a toxic place. So I said, like, no, I want to win because of me. I want to win because I have dreams, because I have goals. And I just want to be better than the person that I was yesterday.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm really big on, like, self-help. If I find something wrong about myself, I'm really hard on myself. Have you noticed that? Like, I'm really hard on myself.
Yeah, you are.
I'm like, oh, my gosh, I just suck. And it's like I can get really down, but then, like, after it's like I can't stay down. Like, I have to be better than
Right.
myself. And so,
Well, you're honest with yourself. When you say you're down on yourself, you're just honest with where you are. With
yeah,
what
I
you're
get
feeling.
where I'm at, and then I get super, like, I gotta get out this hole.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a nonstop thing of, like, feeling like I'm not doing enough. And then that can be toxic because it's like then you're not practicing gratitude. You're
That's
not
very true.
grateful for where you are.
Yeah.
So all the time I have to be like, man, no, this man really loves me. That's from past, like, because not seeing love in your home. So
Yeah.
like, man, he really loves me. Sometimes people be like, I can tell he really loves you. I'm like, he really loves me? Dang, he really loves me. Because sometimes I feel like I have to prove myself to you or prove myself to my kids, and I go to sleep sometimes. Oh man, they got in trouble too much today. Tomorrow I gotta get them, I gotta make sure that I'm, and so it's like just trying to prove and I guess win beyond my doubts. And so I feel like my doubts outweigh other people's doubts. 'Cause I'm like, no one is ever harder on me than I am on myself.
Yeah.
But I'm learning to literally, like, even just in this conversation, it's already encouraging. Like, I'm learning to remember my purpose, like, remember who I am, remember why I started, remember where I'm going, remember where I came from with, like, a very loose hand. I don't want to hold too much on that.
Right.
Remember where I came from, but also, like, knowing that, like, there's a process. Like, if I'm a root right now, then, Lord, let me be the best root.
Right.
And when you see the fruit,
Hey.
let it still humble me.
Absolutely. And that's so important, I think, for our listeners, because we got to pick up our kids. But just for those who are listening, I think it's important that we, like you're saying, understand where you're rooted. When you understand where you're rooted, you'll know how to grow, and know that you don't need permission to grow. You don't need permission to sprout. You don't need permission to burst forth. When what God has for you, it's for you. And when it's your time, it's your time. Don't apologize for it.
No.
Don't act like you don't deserve it. No, you deserve that.
Remind me that.
You know what I'm saying? You deserve that.
He
If
be
this is your
y'all-
season to sprout, man. Like,
You tell me this all the time. He tells me this all the time. So, like, listen to him, okay?
I'm just saying, like, because I have this, for me, I can see your vision. I can see where you're going. And I'm like, okay, your trajectory. It's interesting because a lot of people's trajectory, they just either go from 0 to 100. But your trajectory, you go from 0 to 50, 50 to 70, 70 to 80, and you hate that. I'm
so
like,
sick of it.
I said, yeah, but the Bible talks about the last shall be first shall be last. It's not instant. It takes time. It takes time to get past a certain level. And that's why I say the slow growth is the best growth, because when God bursts you forth, it's going to be like you came out of nowhere. But what people don't know is in that middle process, that healing process, that the places that nobody sees, that privacy place where you're crying and crying out to God and praying for me and praying for the kids, and you're out here worshiping God and speaking in tongues.
Don't
And,
make me cry.
you know what I'm saying? Anointing the house. Like, people don't see that type of stuff.
You making
but-
me cry.
And people don't see that, and they write you off because of that. They don't see the process. They don't see the healing. They don't see what God is birthing out of you. And so, and that
Right,
hurts
he
you
got me
because you're
crying
like,
on this podcast,
but a lot
man.
of people are the same
How
way.
you gonna cry? How you gonna call me on here to cry? Because you know I'm emotional.
I know, I wasn't trying to make you
Because
cry.
I don't be thinking you be knowing.
Come on now, you know I tell you every day.
I told you I need reassurance. Okay.
I tell you every day
Why
because
did you make me cry?
I wasn't trying to make
That's
you
too
cry. I'm
emotional.
just letting you know what's up, man.
Thank you, babe.
Like you are G out here. God is sprouting you forth, and it doesn't
I think
look
the
like
same
how
for you, though,
doesn't
babe.
look like how everybody else looks like. Everybody looks like from 0 to 100. Maybe your 100 is about to be
It
1,000.
better go
It's about to go
crazy.
crazy. If you know what I'm saying, if you think that you're somewhere now, just wait until actually God pushes you. Because right now it's like, okay, God is giving us the ability to push ourselves, and that's what God can do. He can give us abilities, and then we can see the fruit of the abilities that He's given us to push. But when God starts pushing for real, that's a whole nother ball game. We're like, my hands are off. God, you did that? Oh, okay. Because you worked for it, because you worked hard, because you valued yourself, because you are rooted in your vision, rooted in God, rooted in you have a great foundation. And so,
I love that. I believe the same for you, though.
nah,
You know that.
You know, but we
You
speak it
already
over
know
ourselves.
that. You already know that.
We speak it over ourselves. And I'm just right now, I'm in the process in that.
We're in consistency mode.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
We just tryna
Consistency.
be consistent. But the thing about it is that a lot of people pray. I'm gonna say this. I'm done.
Yeah.
A lot of people pray for the spotlight, but wouldn't know what to do with the spotlight if it came.
That's good.
Because the thing about a spotlight, it comes and it shines a light on where you are now,
Yeah.
and it proves whether or not you've been in a process.
Mm.
So if you are standing on a shaky foundation,
Yeah.
you know, and a spotlight comes, it'll show that you're shaking.
Yeah.
For me and for you, I'm really grateful because I'm like, our process has been slow,
Yeah.
but like people can go back years
Yeah.
and see like they've always been consistent,
Yeah.
whether they had a following, whether they didn't have a following,
Correct. Yeah.
like whether they
All
had
been
money,
same.
whether they didn't have money,
All been
you
the
know.
same.
We can look back on ourselves and
Yeah.
say that like we deserve to be here because this has been consistency.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I mean I don't need a spotlight prematurely because I still got work to do.
Hey, come on. We still got work to do.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Yeah, I can get churchy.
So we thank y'all for listening. This is the Socially Awkward
That's
Podcast.
great.
We're going to have our own pretty soon. Huh?
Let us know if y'all want us on
We're going to have our
own.
own pretty soon.
You may or may
It's
not
in the
have
works.
a name for it already.
It's in the works, y'all. But I thank y'all for listening and tuning in. I think that was a good 30 minutes. Yeah, that was a good 30 minutes. 35, something like that.
Hey,
But I thank y'all for tuning in to the Social Awkward Podcast every
leave
Tuesday.
a review,
Leave
y'all.
a review, subscribe, comment. Let us know how you like it. Let us know if y'all want wifey back on again. I got to have her back on again. I got to have her back on. Isn't she a light? Huh?
Isn't she a gift?
Isn't she a gift? But I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.
Bye.
Socially awkward. Let's go. Let's go.